Okay, we're going to take a look at an electronic curriculum delivery system, or an ECDS. Um, these are moderately popular in smaller school districts, growing in popularity in the state of Ohio for credit recovery or dropout prevention programs. And we're going to be looking at Apex Virtual School. So I've opened a web browser and navigated to apexvs.com. You can't really take a look at this without usernames and passwords, so we're going to log in as me as a teacher administrator, and I'll give you a quick rundown on what the program looks like. From the site coordinator side, you can see how many enrolled students and how many active enrollments that you're looking at. Difference between active enrollments and enrolled students: if you have students with multiple classes. So say you were working in a small district where you wanted to offer some obscure AP courses, a subscription to Apex would allow you to do this, where the student would be working exclusively with the computer system, and then you would give, let's say it was an AP Psych course, you'd give teacher control to the social studies teacher, who would then be able to look in and look at the information that's going on. So oftentimes you're going to have more active enrollment than you will enrolled students. Taking a look at the teacher side, these are just some of the classes that are offered: algebra, American literature, on down the line across every subject area. You have some elective credits in terms of college and career prep, media literacy, creative writing, so on and so forth. Let's take a look into one of these classes. I'm going to use a literature class because those are what I'm most familiar with. And we'll look in on, let's say, American Literature A. So this is first semester of what would be third or fourth year English, depending on your school district. And students are only going to be able to see as far as, let's turn the music off. Students are only going to be able to see as far as they've made it through the course material. And this really is your textbook here. You have your table of contents to the left-hand side, and what students will come across is this little orange dot right here that I'm mousing around. That is their stop sign. That's as far as they can go before some kind of material is asked of them. So they can navigate through here, read through the information. It's Mac friendly, it's PC friendly, it's not exactly tablet friendly, so in that regard they're a little bit behind. But what we have over here is more information, and then they have an assignment. We have a discussion on this side where students would be able to go ahead and print this out or copy and paste it into an email or some kind of a Google Doc and share it back with their instructor. The answers are available if you should like to go through their scoring rubric, or if you have teachers that are more independent and just want to do the rubric work on their own, they can. The nice part about an electronic curriculum delivery system like this is you'll have teachers where they'll say, just come to me and you can do the discussion orally instead of answering these questions, depending on what skill sets and what modalities you want to take a look at. Let's take a look at the studies. This is kind of where the rubber meets the road. These are relatively simplistic because it's early on in the curriculum, but for the most part these are fill-in-the-blank studies that parallel the reading, and then always some kind of a extended response questions at the end. These students can use either for grading purposes, or they can use them as cheat sheets when they go ahead and take the quiz. Let's take a look at what one of the quizzes looks like. We'll jump into 1, 2, 4 here. Students have you as a proctor for the course can set the pass rate failure, 60%, 70%, 50% for students. They have one opportunity to reset this themselves. You can take that opportunity away. All right, and let's go ahead and reset this. And so you would go ahead and work some of these out. For example, the dog is going to be a subject, sat in the yard is going to be your predicate. The dog sat in the yard is going to be your simple sentence. This is going to be your compound sentence, excuse me. And this is going to be your complex sentence. And let's go ahead and submit. And yes, we are correct. And let's see what happens. clause that cannot stand on its own. Let's call this a subordinate clause. We know that's going to be an incorrect answer. The feedback function is okay. It's not amazing. But at the end, students can take a look and they can get an idea of what they got correct and what they didn't get correct off of any of this stuff. So this gives you some idea of what the content looks like of an electronic curriculum delivery system. It is interactive for the students, as we hear once again with more annoying background music. Hyperlinked for vocabulary terms so they can mouse over it and see what a definition looks like. And there is some interactivity. Let's see if we can find some interactivity here if we go into 312. Some stuff on Walt Whitman. Here we have audio that would actually go ahead and play itself, so we'll see if this will play back for us.
This biographical timeline offers a glimpse into Whitman's world. Note any important experiences that...
So what a student could do is hook up a set of headphones, and this is going to read to them for your struggling readers, or you can click for an audio transcript, and your more advanced students can just go ahead and read the material. Apex actually started out as a program that was more intended for AP studies programs, but has really turned into more of something for the dropout recovery or credit recovery environments. Here's student interactivity.
Gentlemen, look on this wonder. Whatever the bids of the bidders, they cannot be high enough for it. And gentlemen, look on this wonder.
And once again,
whatever the bids of the bidders, they cannot be...
We have integrated audio. And here we have more information where the students are going to interact with this instead of just a passive reading activity as you would find in a regular textbook. At the end of every unit, you also have paper scored tests and computer scored tests. Let's take a quick look at what those look like. We'll show you the paper scored test. And again, as instructors, you could go in and you could take a look at this material and say, I want to change this around, I want to adapt this, I want to change this, or you could just go strictly with the model. Let's take a look at what the grade book looks like and how this is going to retrieve some answers. I'm going to grab a class that I know I only have 1 or 2 students in who won't mind if we take a look at their material. You'll navigate to their classroom. Let's take a look at Intro B. Candace is my only student that I have. This is freshman level work right now, and if we zero in on, say, Unit 1. Here's how Candace is doing. The green boxes tell us that the student passed the assessment on their first or second attempt. A yellow box like this one tells me that there were multiple attempts at this assessment. We can go ahead and we can lock out assessments so that the student has to come and ask for permission to be able to get through it in case you want to review something. If we double click on the assessment item, we can see that she took this once on June 5th, and it took her 40 minutes to be able to go through it. And we could actually see what her answers were. So here where she guessed A and the correct answer was C. The feedback tool is not particularly robust, but this is nice if you want to review something, or if you as an instructor look and go, that's not how I would have scored that answer, so you can get a little bit of an idea about what the tests are actually looking like. And you can look at these in terms of diagnostics across all students as well. If you had multiple students that were taking the course, we could click into this area here, and that would give us an idea about what the averages are for students that are, all students that are taking this material, what their average scores were. The nice part about an ECDS like this is that it's going to compile more data that you can use to trim and move your instruction around than what a traditional classroom system is going to be, only because this is doing the collection work for you. Okay. If there's anything else we can look at, we can also, this program also allows for a diagnostic test. So if you were running something as credit recovery, what they would say is you have a 32 question diagnostic test where the student could go through, and if they passed, say, 70%, with 70% passing of the 32 questions, you could give them credit for the unit instead of making them go through all of the material that's here. The idea behind a little bit of credit recovery, and then the only thing that would be left, they could do that for each subsequent unit, and then the final would just be a hand-scored final. You do have individual reports where you can sneak in and you can look at information about any of the students taking any class that's in your system. Just for privacy purposes, we'll leave that area blank. We have correlations that show how everything is aligned into our Common Core curriculum or into the state curriculum. Apex is state specific. And we have our grade book back here once again. So that's kind of a quick and fresh look at what Apex VS is all about and what it looks like. It's super easy to use. The ability to create students is as simple as click a button, enter in their information, create a username, and then issue them a password. The system uses the same style of assignments no matter what the subject area. So even if you have, say, a math or a science teacher that's out, you can have another teacher that can reach in and say, sure, I can reset a quiz for you. It's entirely up to you. Hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, by all means, email me about it.